All right. Well, it's 7 p.m. We better get going. We don't want to end up running too late. I know you guys are all super busy. First off, thank you guys for joining the second Chalk Talk. I thought week one went really well. I was excited to see the turnout for both the Chalk Talk and for the team workout. It's awesome. Other programs aren't putting this work in, and we're setting ourselves up for success. So it's awesome. Let's keep it going. Cool. So we did intros last week, so we won't go through those again. We should all know who we are. Plus, we have names right next to our face, so that's good. Just a quick reminder: please keep yourself muted unless you are ready to speak, and please keep your video on. If you don't want it right on your face, that's fine. But I'd appreciate it if you're somewhat in the frame, just so we all know you're there. That's awesome. Okay, so this week's Chalk Talk, we're really lucky to have a Bronc alumni, Jared Boussier, to be our guest speaker. Jared played in our program for 5 years on both the Bantam and the senior program. He played midget football for the Battle River Shock. He was the very first Bronc to make a summer games team, and he's the very first Bronc to play in U Sport. So we're all gonna, I guess, I would say, this is the point if we're in person, I'd say let's all give him a round of applause. So I guess let's give him a round of applause. Yeah. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna ask Jared a handful of questions here. I've got a few written down that I'm gonna ask him, and then after, if you guys have any questions you want to ask him just about his journey as a football player, as an athlete who's been playing football for probably about a decade, as an athlete who's in U Sport, ask away, because he's got a wealth of knowledge that we're lucky to have shared with us. So welcome, Jared. Thanks, man, for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. It's my pleasure.
Awesome. So first question I have for you. When exactly did you start playing? How old were you? What grade were you in? And what was it that made you decide to play football?
So I started playing football in grade 8. I don't know how old that is, 12 or 13 or so. So it was the second year of the Bantam program, so it was pretty new. And I honestly wasn't really convinced I wanted to play football. I'd always played hockey, was kind of my sport, but started watching Friday Night Lights with Luke Bonnet, and we thought it looked kind of cool, so we decided to give it a shot. And going in, I don't think I had ever watched a full game, or I didn't even know the rules or how the game worked, but just decided to give it a shot.
That's awesome. Cool. It's kind of interesting how just on a whim you want to give something a try, and then all of a sudden look what it turns into. Pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Okay, so as an athlete who's earned a spot on a university team, which is that's not an easy thing to accomplish. Like that's awesome. What's some advice you could give to some of these younger Broncs who might want to continue playing after high school, either as a junior player or as a university player?
I would say a big thing for me, especially for you guys right now, is just trying to get better every day in whatever way you can. Like, you can do so many different things, like working out, going for runs, playing pass, watching CFL games. Like, there's a lot of different things you guys can do, whatever resources you have. And then I think, especially for you guys at your age, I think during the off season, like, play any sport you can, like school sports, whatever. Like, I think it just really helps you develop as an athlete. And then I know a lot of you guys are getting close to grade 9, or some of you guys are in grade 9. So then you have the opportunity to play spring football. So I played Shock. I thought that was a great experience for me. Just learned a lot, just got a lot of football experience under my belt. There's also Prairie Fire, but I don't know about those guys.
Coach Baird, what do you got to say about that?
He's lucky he's my favorite.
That's awesome. Okay, thanks, Jared. Cool. So you've played football a long time, and I guess this kind of ties into what you said before. You're a hockey player. What exactly made you kind of switch from being primarily a hockey player to being a football player? And I guess to add on to that, what does football mean to you? Why do you dedicate so much of yourself to playing the sport?
I mean, I think football is just the greatest team sport. It's just between just a different sort of team atmosphere than hockey. Having 30-something guys that you just have that close relationship, I just don't think it compares to any other sport. And then what football means to me, I think it means a lot of different things, and it's changed over time. But I think right off the bat, it was always about just the brotherhood and having fun with my friends out on the field. But I really think it goes beyond that for me. Yeah, I think sports, especially football, can do a lot of different things for you. They like build character and really teach you a lot of things that go beyond the sport. And yeah, I think I dedicate myself to the sport. It just really challenges me every day. It's tough physically, mentally, and just comes at you at so many different ways. It's never the same one day to the next.
That's awesome. That's a great answer. Cool. Okay. So as a U Sport athlete, like what is that like? What is your day? What is your week? What does your month look like as a U Sport athlete?
So our schedule is definitely pretty heavy. So we'll start training in early August usually. We'll do a fall camp, and then when the season starts, so we'll usually, most guys will be in class or studying like 9 till around 2-ish, and then we have like a study hall program, so that runs 3 o'clock to 5, and that's basically just all the players get together and we have tutors and stuff, and it's just a time that it's just all focused on school, just trying to make sure we stay on top of that. And then from there, 5 till 6:30, we usually have like team meetings, and then after that we have practice till 9:30, and then that usually goes practice 4 or 5 days a week, and then game on the weekend. And then I guess off season structured a little bit differently too. It's a bit lighter for sure, but we have like a little bit of an added challenge. We do team runs at 6 in the morning, so that's definitely its own challenge. Waking up at 5 every day. So then we run 6:30 or 6 to 7:30, and then 7:30 to 9 we're in the gym, and then it's class, then on study hall 3 to 5 again, and then meetings usually for another hour after that. So yeah, they keep us busy.
Wow. So when do you sleep?
Whenever I can.
That's awesome. Wow, that's a busy schedule. So that's a lot of commitment to keep playing at that level. Coach Baird, you played for University of Alberta as well. Does that schedule kind of sound similar to what you experienced?
Yeah, it's pretty close. I remember it was gym, it was practice, team runs in the morning. Same thing, nothing's changed, Jared. Ours were always on Sundays, especially. It was always the big team run on Sunday. I don't know why, but.
Oh yeah, we usually have Sundays off, so.
Okay, they always made us do it on a Sunday, and then lots of film. Film always kind of was the end of our night. Always, it was kind of like I don't know. It was always a test to see how awake your brain was after all of that gym time and training time and practice time, and then we ended with film, and it was. Remember, there was days it was tough to be awake, but it's all worth it in the end, I guess.
Awesome. Cool. Okay. So your first year, you just had it. What were some of the challenges that you experienced?
I would say, other than the mornings, the 5 a.m.s, I would definitely say it was a big adjustment. I ended up switching positions to defensive back. So like throughout junior high and high school, I was always primarily an offensive guy, like quarterback, running back, or receiver most of the time. Played a bit of defense, but yeah, so that was definitely intimidating, especially like switching at that level is kind of just had to learn as you go and fake it till you make it, I guess.
Cool. So that's actually a really good point. making the team itself, and you made a lot of prestigious teams. Like, not many people get to play summer games or play on midget teams like Chalk. How do you, if you're going to try out, what's some advice you give the rest of us how to make that team? How do you make yourself stand out? How do you make coaches kind of give you that second look?
Yeah, I'd say for me it was always just trying to stay relaxed. Like, don't get in your head. You just gotta play the game. Like, you've done it how many times? You just gotta perform like you know you can. And yeah, it's like, yeah, just do whatever you can, like, to stand out, go first in line, just work hard.
Love it. Cool. Okay. The last question. This is kind of not really a football question, more of just a question about your university. First off, what program are you in?
I'm in general sciences.
Cool. How do you like it? Do you like university?
Yeah, I really like the way it's structured. Yeah, it's like less class time, kind of more free time. So that's definitely depending like on how you handle it. It can work for you or against you. Because there's definitely lots of studying involved, and don't have any teachers or parents telling you when to do it. So you just gotta stay self-motivated for that.
Cool. That's awesome. Well, you know what? That concludes all the questions I had loaded up for you. Bronx, do you have any questions for Jared? Quaid.
I got a few written up here. Just trying to weed through what coach has already said. What outside resources have you used that have like helped you develop skills?
That's a good question. A big thing that I was lucky enough to, I worked at Rip and Ronnie's throughout high school, so I was able to work out there, and so that was really awesome. But I was definitely lucky enough to have that, but it's definitely not the only thing, the only resource you can use. Like, lots of stuff that you guys are doing right now is great. Like, it's the same stuff that we're doing on my team right now. All these body weight stuff, going for runs, like, whatever you can, like, will make you better.
Coach kind of touched on this, but like, what specific things helped you get noticed by scouts? And
one thing for me, I was lucky enough, I think Baird and Blinkhorn talked a bit to U of A. They kind of stuck their neck out for me there, so I was lucky enough to get that. But I think you guys, I don't know, like, I think the high school has Huddle right now, right, Baird?
Yeah, we do.
So that's an awesome resource. So making your highlights there is huge, and then just putting yourself out there, like emailing different coaches, junior teams, universities, just sending them out and showing that you're interested, and you'll definitely get some attention there.
That's something as coaches that we help you out with too, as you get closer to the end of your high school career. Like Jared was saying, on Huddle, it's awesome because you just make your highlight film basically and can brag about yourself for the rest of your life if you want it. But that's something that we put you in contact with, or we ask people to come watch you play, depending on their availability. But that's something that as coaches we can help you with too as you get closer to your grade 12 year.
Awesome. Quay, do you have another one, or?
I think you pretty much covered it. Yeah, that's all I got.
Awesome. Okay, anyone else? Coach Quantz.
So Jared, a lot of what you talked about was making yourself better. And then one of the things that you had commented on was, now that you've made it to the university level, there isn't that adult component of a parent pushing you or even a teacher really. Because a lot of the times you're in classes that are fairly large in size, and it really comes down to you doing what you need to do to stay in school and stay on the team, because there's expectations both at the school as well as with the program, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that I think these kids need to understand is that this isn't something that happens in grade 12. This is something that happens long before grade 12, when you decide that you're going to be committed to excellence across the board. In whatever it is you do, you need to drive yourself to be the best you can be. And my question to you is, at what time did you really start to narrow that down? And what strategies did you use in order to really make sure that when the option came to take the easy road, you chose the hard road because you knew where it was going to get you?
Mm-hmm. As far as like really committing to football, I would say more around grade 10. I kind of decided I was definitely like, I was working hard throughout like Bantam and stuff, like doing whatever I could, but I think that's the kind of time that I decided I really wanted to play at the next level. And at that point, it was just kind of, yeah, doing whatever I can, because like it was more, what was I gonna say? Sorry. Yeah, just getting things done, like in the classroom, on the field, like just taking an extra step above like what is necessary, because there's a lot of times that it's pretty easy to just do like what you have to and just to get by, but just kind of like having faith that taking that extra step, like doing extra workouts, studying that extra hour for a test, like just having faith that it'll pay off in the end, I think is just kind of what it's about. And like, and just like if you really have a goal, I think like you're willing to do it, even if it doesn't necessarily pan out. Like just doing everything that like is in your like range that you can do. Yeah.
Thanks. You, I don't know, I've only met you over the course of a couple interactions throughout the course of this season, but I know that I've coached football for a long time, and if I could build a program that had a leader in it that people aspired to be like, you would definitely be it. So these Broncs aspiring to follow your path and learn from your example is definitely going to bode well for this program and school. So congratulations and all the best.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Any more questions for Jared?
We got a question from my mom.
Oh yeah, let's go. Come on in, Mom.
I'm the messenger though.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Mom asks, what are your plans after, like, do you plan on playing like CFL or any football after Golden Bears?
I haven't really, that's not really part of my plan. I've taken school in science right now, and then I hopefully want to be a dentist someday. So yeah, that's kind of my plans. Yeah. So yeah, education.
Any more questions?
I got one.
Let's hear it.
What was the hardest challenge you had to overcome in football?
That's a good question. For sure, one of them had to be grade 10, just moving into high school. That was definitely a tough one. I was probably like 5, 6, or 7, 135 pounds. Kind of got thrusted into the starting quarterback position. I remember the summer before my grade 10 season, I was excited I was going to play receiver, and we had a good quarterback. And then he ended up moving to BC that summer. And yeah, I didn't feel like I was ready, but it's just kind of learned on the job. And yeah, I think I improved like really fast. And yeah, you just kind of had to at that point. So that was difficult, but I think it made me a better football player for sure.
I'm pretty sure you won offensive player of the year too.
Thanks.
Awesome. Any more questions, guys? All right. Okay. Well, Jared, thank you so much for taking time out of your night to come talk about your football journey with us. I think Coach Quan said it best when he said that you're really like a I don't want to be overly dramatic here, but like a beacon or like a role model that we can all really look up to. When we talk about Bronx pride, which is something we say every single practice, it's working hard, being a great teammate, lifting your brother. You exemplify in all those areas. So if anyone wants to tailor themselves or follow the path of a football player, I definitely agree with Coach Quantz. You're the guy to follow. So thank you so much for your time.
Coach. Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. It's my pleasure.
Cool. If you want to stick around, we're just about to go through some offensive stuff. You definitely can. You're more than welcome. If you got to hop off, that's cool too.
Yeah, I'll stick around.
Sweet. All right, cool. Okay, so I've made up a slideshow. I'm going to briefly go through each of the offensive positions. Now, for some of you more seasoned players, you're going to know these positions. But please, I know it's going to be a review for you, but I still want you to pay attention because, none of us knows everything about football, and maybe there's something that you missed along the way, and you'll pick it up. For those of you who are new players, you're definitely going to want to pay attention because these are the positions you could be slotted into. So I'm going to share my screen. There we go. Can you guys see that okay? Awesome. Thanks, Kieran. Cool. So we're talking Canadian football. Okay. Basic rules of Canadian football. Teams are usually 20 to 45 players. 45 is usually the bigger end of a team. 20 is usually the lower end. We play 12 versus 12. So what that means is when we're on offense, we have 12 players in the field versus our opposition who'd be playing defense. They would have 12 as well. Okay. Now, if you follow NFL or American football, they play 11 versus 11. Canadian football is 12 versus 12. Okay, the reason for that, well, one of the reasons for that is that we have a way bigger field. Okay, so bigger field means there's more scoring opportunities. Okay, we bring in that 12th player. Okay, we're talking offense today. Okay, next week Coach Baird's gonna teach us about defense, but for today we're talking offense. The offense's main goal is to move the ball downfield, okay, towards your opposition's end zone so you can score a touchdown, okay? How do you do that? Well, you pass the ball, you run the ball, okay? So moving the ball, we have what are called downs. And when we think of downs, they are plays. So when an offense takes the field, they have 3 plays or 3 downs. And what they're trying to do is, yes, of course, score a touchdown, but you don't do that with 1 play, usually. Usually what you're trying to do is just move the ball 10 yards. So you've got 3 plays to do that. If you do manage to move the ball 10 yards, awesome. We call that a first down. And now your plays, your downs, they're reset. And then you get to have another 3. Oh, my cat is clawing me. I don't know what he wants. He's hungry. Okay. Yeah, so you're trying to move the ball 10 yards, get that first down, and you march the ball down the field, collecting your first downs until finally you get into the end zone. If an offense fails to move the ball 10 yards in those 3 downs, we'll have a turnover. The other team's offense will come on the field, and now it's their turn to move the ball. I won't get into special teams like punting just yet. We'll worry about that a little bit later. Okay. So offensive positions, as I said, there are 12 players on the field. So that's 12 different positions on the offense. We're going to go through them all right now. If this looks, whoa, that's crazy. If this looks like gibberish to you, don't worry. We're going to break it down right now. One thing for us to keep in mind is some terminology for you. You might see this, LOS, that means line of scrimmage. The line of scrimmage is an invisible line across the field where the ball is laid, okay? Now on the offense, we have to have 7 players on the line of scrimmage. If an offense fails to have 7 guys on there, it's a legal procedure. Okay. That means there must be 5 players in the backfield. That means they're not on the line of scrimmage. They're able to stand wherever they want. Okay, depending on the formation that they're in. Starting off, and arguably the most important part of any offense is our offensive linemen. Every single play begins and dies with offensive linemen. Okay, their main job is to be big, tough dudes who just want to go and beat up the defense. They're blocking the defense. They're protecting the quarterback, giving the quarterback time so he can pass the ball, or they're trying to move the defense around and open up running lanes for a running back to run through. Okay, think of offensive linemen like a bulldozer. A bulldozer moves around a load or a pile of gravel. That's what an offensive lineman does. They move them around so the rest of the offense can move the ball downfield. All right. One thing to mention about offensive linemen is that they are ineligible. And what that means is that offensive linemen, they can't run downfield and catch a pass. They can't take a handoff. That's another illegal procedure. You cannot do that as an offensive lineman. Their job is just to beat people up on the defense, which is just awesome. I love offensive linemen. Okay. So now we said that there's 5 of them. Okay, well, let's break down the specific positions in the offensive line. We've got offensive tackles. These guys are on the edge of the offensive line. Okay, they're big dudes still, but they're often very mobile. They have to have quick feet to block the defensive line and protect their quarterback. Okay, so if you ever wonder, like, where's an offensive tackle line up? Okay, well, you find the center and then go to the very edge of the offensive line, go to the other edge of the offensive line. There are your tackles. Okay, if you're looking at footage or you're watching a game or whatever, there's my center. Next 2 guys are the guards, and then the guys on the very edge, those are my tackles. Okay. Notice how they're all in this nice low position. Okay, offensive linemen have to get in that nice low stance. We worked on that during our team workout. Okay, if you guys remember that drill, you got low, you're taking that nice quick step off the snap. Okay, they need to be in that low position so they have power and they have leverage to move around the defense. Okay, next. The next 2 offensive linemen are the guards. These guys are on either side of the center. These guys are big boys who just want to move around people. Okay, to be an offensive guard, you've got to be eager to make contact because, you know, a lot of people have a lot of different reasons for playing football, and a lot of people will say, I just want to make contact, I want to hit people or whatever. Well, if that's you, offensive line and playing offensive guard, well, there you go. That's a good position for you. Okay, so there's that same picture. We've got our center. He's got the ball. He's ready to snap it. On either side of him are the guards. And then, of course, the offensive center, he's in the center. Okay, he's the guy. He's not only making a block, but he is snapping the ball to the quarterback before he makes that block. Okay, that's not an easy thing to do. If you've played center, you know what I'm talking about. Because as soon as you move that ball, the defense is allowed to come towards the offense. So if you don't snap that ball quick and get in a good position to block, you're in trouble. Okay, so centers are often your best offensive lineman or one of your most athletic offensive linemen for that reason. And there he is, right in the center. Okay, if you're ever wondering where the center is, it's the guy who's lined up with the ball. Okay, quarterback will be standing behind him. Okay, now I said before there were 2 main roles that offensive linemen have. They're either protecting the quarterback for a pass or they're run blocking. Here's a good example of pass protection. Hopefully it loads.
You put it to the very end.
I did, yeah, sorry, I fixed it there. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna mute it because whoever made this video put some weird music over top of it. Okay, so the ball has just been snapped. Quarterback is getting the ball, okay? Notice how all the offensive linemen, they're still pretty darn low. Their first step is backwards because they're trying to protect their passer. Okay, that's why we call it pass protection. You're protecting the pass. Now, here's the defense in white. Their mission is to go get that ball from that quarterback. They're trying to put him in the ground. Okay, well, let's watch this offensive line. Look at the time that quarterback has. That's amazing. Now, that would be an example of an exemplar. Like that's about as good as it gets. The more time you buy your quarterback, the more time receivers have to get off the defense and get open. So offensive line, they got to be low. They got to be tough. They have to have great footwork to buy time for their passer. Okay, so that's pass protection. But the offense doesn't always pass the ball. They often run the ball. This one's going to be a pain. Can you guys still see my screen? Is that okay? Thank you, Addison. Okay, this is Marshawn Lynch. Okay, running back. This is a pretty amazing play. So let's just enjoy Marshawn Lynch first. So that's a pretty amazing play. And Marshawn Lynch is amazing. I don't want to take away from him at all. But he's not getting down there without his offensive line blocking for him. So let's take a look from a different angle here. Here it is right here. So here he is. Okay, quarterback is underneath the center. Next to the center are our two guards, then our tackle. And this guy right here is a receiver. He's a tight end. We'll talk about him later, okay? I want you to watch, not Marshawn Lynch, I want you to watch the offensive line. Watch how they fire off the ball. They go forward and they're attacking the defense. They're not waiting. They're attacking and driving the defense backwards, opening up running lanes for the running back so that he can run through. Did you see that? Happens pretty quick. Notice how not only are they just going and attacking, they're not mindlessly just hitting people. Watch the motion of the tackle, the guard, the center, the guard, the tackle. Watch their first step here. Did you see that? How they're all sweeping in that same direction, like they're just opening a door for that running back. That's beautiful. We're going to do that this year. Now look at that. He's got a huge lane right here. He's got a nice big lane right there. That's thanks to the offensive line. And my second favorite thing about this play is that not only do they make that first block, but here's an offensive lineman, here's an offensive lineman. They're not just watching him and cheering. They're still part of the play. Watch him run downfield. They make a couple more blocks that makes this play happen. Love that. Which is a really good point, is that football isn't an individual sport. Running backs don't score touchdowns on their own. Quarterbacks don't score touchdowns on their own. It's 12 people on the football field that need to work together as a group that scores the touchdowns. Okay, Jared said that before too. It's the ultimate team sport, and for that very reason, you have to have each guy doing their job, performing their responsibility for the whole team to have success. Love that. This video right here, we're not going to watch it right now, but I've pasted or copy and pasted this slideshow onto the hub. Okay, go to the notes on week 2. Watch this video on your own time. It's pretty good. Okay, but just make sure you only go to 155 because then it starts talking about American stuff. We don't need to worry about that. Okay, so we talked about the offensive lineman. Okay, next up is the quarterback. Okay, quarterback is pretty widely known. He's the one who takes the snap. After he gets the snap, there's 3 things he can do. He can pass the ball to a receiver, he can hand it off to a running back, or he can just choose to run the ball himself. Okay, so here is a clip from the Bantam season last year. Brody, you still on the call, brother?
Yeah.
You remember this play?
What was this one? Oh, was this the Jake?
Let's see. So that's a pretty sweet play. Brody, I'm going to put you on the spot, man. I don't know if you remember back, it was a while ago. But during this play, you get the snap of the ball. Where are your eyes going at this point?
Probably the Jake.
Okay. Are you just staring at Jake, or are you reading the field?
Well, I looked at Emily and then, or no, I looked at Elvin first, I think, and then Emily, and then Jake.
Awesome.
I don't remember.
No, it's all good. That sounds about right. And if we watch his eyes, I think that's pretty darn accurate. Okay, so the point I'm trying to make is this. Quarterback gets the ball, and if it's not a handoff, if it's a pass, a quarterback has to make reads. Okay, now each of our plays has got different routes that we all know are happening. So the quarterback has to be aware of that. And he has to make different reads, see which receiver is open, and then make a decision based on that. And in this particular play, Brody made an awesome choice. You saw that Jake was open, he was undefended, and threw the ball really accurately. You see his eyes there? Watch Brody's eyes. Little peek at Alvin, checks Emily. That's a great play. So that is one of the main characteristics that a quarterback has to have. He has to be able to read the offense and take a check. So we're not going to watch this video right now either, but on your own time, you should watch this. It's only a couple minutes long. Explains a lot of great things about quarterbacking. Okay, running backs. So just like offensive line, okay, there are a few different types of offensive linemen. There are a couple different types of running backs. We have fullbacks and tailbacks, and here they are right down there. Okay, so here's just a look in real life. Okay, we've got the offensive line, we've got the quarterback underneath the center, we've got our fullback and our tailback. Okay, so talking about fullbacks first. Fullback is the one that's closer to the quarterback. Okay, fullback is typically bigger, so you can actually see it here. This guy's a bit bigger than the tailback, and the reason for that is that fullbacks are usually blocking. Okay, they are eligible, which means they can get a handoff or they can go run a route and get passed to. But usually they're kind of like an offensive lineman. They're running through a gap, blocking a defender, opening up a lane for a tailback. But if you're talking, if you look at the Bantam team last year, we actually hand the ball off to our fullbacks a ton. Okay, so it also depends on the team and the year and what personnel you have as well. Okay, but for the most part, fullbacks are blocking. They can take handoffs. They can also run a route. Okay. Also, if it's a pass, it's not always a handoff. If it's a pass, fullback can take a step up. He's helping block and defend that quarterback, just like an offensive lineman. Okay. So here's a clip from last year's Bantam team. Sluggett, you still on the call, brother?
May have worked.
Okay, I hope you remember this one. This is a good one. What I really like about this clip is that it really shows how fullbacks are usually used, not for outside runs, but inside runs, which means they're going in a straight line. We're going north towards the end zone, and often we have to go through the defense. We're not trying to juke them or get around them. We're just going through them. Watch how Sluggett does this. He goes straight north. Awesome. Defender gets in his way. He just gets lower and keeps his feet pumping. Love that. That gets me excited. It's been over a year, and I still get excited about that. That's a sweet play. Cool. So tailbacks. They are they're a running back just like a fullback. Okay. They're the one that's further away. Okay. They're typically more athletic. They're agile. They're shifty. Okay. They can run through guys as well. Okay. But for the most part, they're trying to get outside or go around defenders. Okay. Okay, here's another clip from, we don't have time. We'll skip it. Okay. But we already saw that Marshawn Lynch video. That's a tailback getting a handoff. Okay, next up, we've got receivers. There are usually four receivers on an offense. Okay. I shouldn't say usually, but depends on the formation. But in this formation, we've got four receivers. Okay. And their main roles on the offense is to run a route and catch a pass, or if it's a handoff, they're going to be blocking for their running backs. Okay. So let's break this down. Out of those four, we've got two wide receivers. Now, Something we have to keep in mind about wide receivers is that they are always lined up on the line of scrimmage. Remember, that line of scrimmage is where the ball is placed, okay? If a wide receiver lines up off of that line of scrimmage, it's a penalty. It's an illegal procedure. So they always have to be on the line, okay? Secondly, a wide receiver has to be on his side. So if I'm the left wide receiver, I've got to be closer to the sideline than any of the other offensive linemen. If the tackle and the wide receiver swap spots, that wouldn't work. Now the tackle would be eligible and the wide receiver wouldn't be. Doesn't work. Wide receiver's got to be the furthest out on his side, okay? So here are some wide receivers. Notice how they're lined up on that invisible line, that line of scrimmage. We can even see this wide receiver. He's looking towards the ref. He's checking to see if he's actually on the line, because sometimes it's kind of hard to see, okay? Okay, we're going to skip that for now. You guys can watch that on your own time. Now, wide receiver, they are allowed to line up anywhere they want on the line of scrimmage. So if this guy wanted to scooch closer to the offensive line, sure. If you wanted to scooch closer towards the sideline, sure. When a wide receiver lines up right next to the offensive tackle, we call them tight ends. We don't call them wide receivers anymore. We call them tight ends, okay? And I mean, the name it makes sense. They're tight to the offensive line, and they're on the end. They're a tight end, okay? In this position, they're often helping block. So it's like we have a sixth offensive lineman. But the cool thing about that is that they're still eligible. So they can block and block and block and block, and then the defense kind of forgets that they're eligible. Then boom, they run a pattern, throw the ball to them. Awesome. We did that a lot last year, actually, for the Bantams, okay? Another really good video. You're going to watch that on your own time. Okay. The other receivers we have are slot backs. Notice that they are not on the line of scrimmage. They are in the offensive backfield. They can move around and do whatever they want. If they wanted to run around and do circles 30 times, they could, but don't do that. The cool thing about slot backs is that during the quarterback's cadence, so red eight, set, hut, they're not just standing here. They're running towards the line of scrimmage. They're getting a head start. Like they're getting speed, which is a huge advantage for the offense because it's pretty darn hard covering a receiver who's already sprinting. Okay. So here's a clip of that, just so you get a better idea of what I'm talking about. This is from our spring bank game last year. You can see our two slot backs, one there and one just off screen. I think this is Emily here. Notice how when the ball snapped, they're hitting that line with quite a bit of speed. Hard to cover. Like, watch this kid. He's got no chance. Back it up. See you later. A couple of things I love about this play. Not only does Emily hit the line with a lot of speed, watch how nice and crisp her route is. Cuts pretty well. She catches the ball, tucks it, protects the ball. She's going north. Awesome play. Okay, the last thing I'll talk about, and then I'll turn it over to Coach Kwan so we can talk about some actual specific plays. To help the offense play call and just get ourselves organized. We number the gaps in between offensive linemen, okay? So we have our 5 linemen, the center's in the middle, okay? And we start counting on the center's left, so 1. And then we go to the other side of the center, 2. Then we go to the other side of the guard, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's like we're going back and forth, we're weaving. Can someone tell me, what's a pattern we see here with these numbers?
Can I tell you, or do you want one of the young kids?
You know what? I appreciate it. If none of them get it, then you can. But yeah, let's challenge them.
All right.
I appreciate it, Quaid. Any new Bronx? Take a look at these numbers. What's something you see there?
Can I answer?
You're not new.
Pretty much. I didn't play that much last year.
All right, Addison, tell us.
On the left side, it's odd. On the even side, it's on the right side, it's even.
Excellent. Yeah. So on the left side of the center, we've got odd numbers. On the right side of the center, we've got even numbers. If you ever get confused, you're like, uh-oh, what gap is what? You find the center, go to his left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lastly, the backs, which are our quarterback, our fullback, and our tailback. We number them as well. So if you notice, the formation we're in right now is called I formation because our 3 backs are formed up as, like, they look like an I, okay? And the one close to the center, the quarterback, he's 1, fullback is 2, tailback is 3, okay? So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Coach. Do we have a question? Nope. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Coach Quantz. Sorry, Coach.
Hey,
I think you're muted, Coach.
Sorry. It's quarter 2. We have one play, or we have about 15 minutes. What do you want to do? I'm cool with doing this another day if we've run out of time. It's up to you, Coach. Now you're muted, Todd.
You're muted, Coach.
My bad. What a hypocrite, eh? I just told Coach. I could share my screen again, and then do you want to talk about like a 21 dive, 34 lead?
We got a 34 lead.
Let's do it. I'll share screen.
All right.
Okay. So I'm just going to do this so we can see a little bit better. There we go. Okay. Take it away, Coach.
It still tells me I can't. I still see your
screen. You know
Coach.
what? Probably because I presented screen. There we go. Go ahead. Or maybe I have to give you access. That's probably it. Sorry, guys. Okay, I'm going to make you host, Coach Quantz. Should work now.
All right, there we go. All right, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
All right, so basically, this is what a play is going to look like. And for a lot of you that have just started, it looks a little bit confusing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the plays away, or the positions away. And all this is doing is telling everybody what they're supposed to do on the play. So if you're with the wide receiver on the right-hand side, your job is to take out the halfback. But when it all starts to get gobbledygooked, it makes it a little harder to read. So I'm just going to take those out, and we'll quickly put them back in. All right, so offensive line is what we were talking about a little bit earlier. Offensive line, your job is to really contain and open up a pocket so that everybody is able to try and get a run play through. This play that we're working on is a 34 lead, which means the tailback is going to be led by the fullback through the 4 hole. That means we have to open it up. So to start with, basically, I'll show you the offensive line's responsibilities. In order to open this hole, we want to try and seal everybody out. So the tackle is going to make sure that he runs that outside line, that end to the outside, and our guard is going to contain that tackle, which is probably going to try to slash inside or outside. His job is to get hat on and drive him out of the hole. So you can see that hole has already started to open up. Our center is going to make sure that the tackle is taken care of and then move to Mac linebacker, because that's the next guy that should be filling this gap. Guard steps inside to protect inside gap, seals tackle. Our end on this side isn't a threat. If he can run all the way across the formation and catch my tailback, he's a big problem. And we'll have to put somebody on him later. But right now I'm going to have my tackle just shoot to the will linebacker so that there's no flow across. The Sam line, or the slot back, traditionally is going to try to come straight up and engage the Sam linebacker. We like to have our wide receiver waggle, which means he stays on the line of scrimmage but comes inside, and then he's going to go straight up and engage that halfback. This corner, again, isn't a threat because he's on the far outside. Our slot back is going to be in motion, and he's going to come toward the line of scrimmage on the inside so he can get an angle on the halfback. Our wide receiver is going to engage the corner just to keep him out there. These plays on this side aren't necessarily going to impact the play, but what it does is it sets up opportunities for us to show that we're going to block and run and then release them up the field when these guys cheat later. Our fullback, because it's called a lead play, the fullback, number 2, is going to lead the tailback through the gap. And his job is to engage anybody that's free. Most likely he's going to help with that Sam linebacker. And the tailback, your job is to get the ball from the QB, and you're going to step to the outside, follow the tailback, and look for open ground. So you can see once we put all of those things back in, it's pretty straightforward. But as a young player, you've got to be able to get to the point where you understand that you just need to look at your own position to see what your responsibility is, and then move through. And that's the only one we're going to do today to break it down and kind of do our scout stuff. We'll do a pitch and a screen next time we talk. One thing that I want to make sure you guys are clear on with these offensive linemen, when you go to the next level and play at a secondary level, university, college, or even at the shock and fire level, what they do is they are going to take the best linemen that try out for the team, and regardless of whether or not you were traditionally a defensive lineman or an offensive lineman, they put you on the offensive line first. Any coach you talk to at the U of A, U of C, shock or fire as a head coach or coordinator, they're going to tell you that they take their best athletes, their best athletic linemen, and those guys become their offensive line. The guys that get to go play the defensive line position are, at that level, arguably not as good, and so they really get demoted to the defensive line. So I want you guys to take a different look at the offensive line and realize that really, in order to play there, that's an elite position, and it's a skilly position that needs to be respected. And when your coach tells you that he wants you to be the backbone of the offense and to lead and guide them, that's a big compliment that you should be excited and honored to be given. That's it for me, Coach.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach Quantz.
Could I say something about the tailback real quick?
Yes, sir, Coach Tade.
Okay. On that play, the tailback should really take his time getting the ball and waiting for like everything to open up and create the hole, because as soon as you get the ball, the hole isn't going to be right there right away. So just take your time and wait for it to open up and then explode through the hole.
Coach Tate is absolutely right. The idea is that you need to be slow to the hole and fast through it. So the idea is take your time, controlling your speed, keeping your eyes open and your head up, looking for the gap, letting the guys in front of you to do the work. And then once you see the gap, you have to have that explosive speed to pop through it to get to the second level. So he's absolutely right. Slow to the hole, fast through it.
Coach Quantz always used to say, old man speed, the young and athletic.
Yeah. That's because I was demoing the drill. So
yeah,
I only demoed the slow spot.
Yeah.
It's not just old man speed, though. It's old man strength. That's the trade-off. You lose the speed, but you get the old man strength.
Oh, yeah,
I'm glad you remembered that saying, Tate. That won't hurt me later on at all, I'm sure.
No, definitely not.
Cool. Hey, Coach Quantz, would you mind making me host again? If you just click on my name on the right side there, then go more. I just want to share one more thing, and then we'll break for the night. Excellent. Thank you, Coach. Cool. So, as I said at the very start, we're doing awesome job with our virtual camp. I thought we had a really strong showing with our first Chalk Talk, our first team workout. Our challenge is better than I could have expected. I thought you guys did an amazing job. Pretty cool. I thought, everyone would choose jog for 10 minutes, but it was pretty cool to see lots of people picking up trash around neighborhood, jogging for like an hour or 30 minutes, some of you. Some of us making parents' dinner. Okay, a lot of us doing the home workouts, and even more of us doing like multiple challenges. I love that. And I think that speaks to what Jared was saying about not just doing the bare minimum, but doing the extra mile, doing as much work as you possibly can, because that's how you challenge yourself. That's how you build yourself and grow yourself as a person and as a football player. So this stuff, I love to see how much you guys are doing and putting into it. Pretty cool. Okay, so I just wanted to scroll through it, just give everyone a chance to be seen by the team in case no one has. Okay. After looking at it, honestly, I think you guys are going to have to cook for your coaches. A lot of good-looking food there. Love it. Community's cleaner because of us. It's awesome. That kind of stuff looks really good on the program, too, that community stuff. Love it. I was actually, I think this was my run. I was running down the hill, and I ran into Daniel. And he said, "You should go for 30 minutes." I said, maybe next week. All right, there's Luke there. Awesome. Like there's pages upon pages of you guys putting in extra work. Love it. Okay, so senior coaches. Do you want to announce who is the winner for week 1 for your senior guys?
Yeah, I'll jump in. We noticed, lots of entries and everything. It was really cool, but one guy who stood out a few times on there, actually, that impressed us a lot was Quaid. So congrats, buddy. You're our week 1 challenge winner.
Thanks, Coach.
There you go. You'll get that bucket hat once they come in. Should be next week. There are a lot of awesome entries. Emily, I love this. That's how I feel after a run, for sure. Carter, these sloppy joes look amazing. Love the feet in the picture too. But it was a tough choice. There's so many entries and a lot of entries that have multiple facets to it. But the one that's got to win, Addison. I think he did every single challenge this week, so you're a winner too. So the McKinney clan's cleaning up. Okay.
Thanks.
So don't worry if you didn't win this time. Don't worry. We have the challenges up next week. Okay. Put your time in, do the challenges, and yeah, you might win that bucket hat. But remember, the main purpose of why we're doing these challenges isn't just for the bucket hat. It's to better ourselves, either fitness-wise, football IQ-wise, or just become a better citizen. So thank you guys for doing that. Love it. Okay. That's all I had. Coaches, do you have anything else to add?
No, I just wanted to thank Jared again for coming on, saying hi. Thank you to all of you for listening and putting in your time, and it's going to make you and our programs better. So keep on plugging away.
All right. Okay. Well, hey, guys, thanks for your hour. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Don't forget, tomorrow is our team workout. There was a ton of you last week. I'd love to see a ton of you again. We'll work out for 20 minutes or so, and we'll get ourselves ready for our summer football. At least the Bantams get that summer football. So let's get the work in. Let's get ourselves conditioned.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Do we know when we can practice again?
I'll let your senior coaches.
We don't know as far as seniors go yet, Kieran. We're waiting for Coach Quantz. Maybe you can help me with this, but I believe it was August 1st. Alberta Sport is supposed to make an announcement, and then Wolf Creek is going to decide what they want to do with it. So it's up to Alberta Sport first, depending on where COVID's at, and then our superintendent will make a decision, and then our school will make a decision. So it's got to kind of fall down the chain first, but in the middle of the summer is when we're supposed to hear something.
Okay. Thanks, Coach.
The basic way that it works is that we can't officially organize anything But if players want to get together and do some things, that's fine. But as coaches for high school, we're shut down until the 30th. So if you guys happen to show up and do some stuff, that's good. But we can't send an email out saying, hey, the Bronx are going to meet at such and such time. And it's a team thing because Alberta football has given the Bantams the go-ahead to start at a certain time. But Alberta School Athletic Association controls us. And they have said that officially our season is done until August.
Okay. Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Us younger guys in the Bantam team, we're really lucky. July 1st to July 15th, we're allowed to have a summer camp. I don't have any specific dates just yet, but we're going to have some dates in those 2 weeks. It's going to be awesome. I'm working on seeing if we can get another team to join our practices, and we can practice a little bit with the other team, get coached up, and then finish with a scrimmage and actually play some football and get ourselves ready for the fall. When I have more information on that, I will email you as fast as I possibly can. So until then, keep putting in that extra work, keep bettering yourself, and don't forget, lift your brother, guys. Have a good night.